From Wana Brands, welcome to Enhance Your Life. I'm your host, Jonathan Small, and each week I talk to people from all sorts of professions and backgrounds about how cannabis has enhanced their lives and how this healing plant can enrich your life too.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Enhance Your Life podcast. My name is Jonathan Small, and I am your host, and I'm delighted to bring you our guest, Kelly Maher. And Kelly is a certified integrative health practitioner and holistic cannabis practitioner whose primary focus is helping women with burnout, stress, anxiety, fatigue, and to feel healthy and calm and centered and in control again. And her dog is even chiming in. That is awesome. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here with you today.
So before we get started, we'd love to hear a little bit about you and how you got involved in the line of work that you do.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been working in the healthcare field for many years now. I actually started my journey as an occupational therapist, and I've worked in home care with adults. I've worked with developmental disabilities and also work in school-based settings with children with mental health and behavioral needs. And so looking at holistic modalities and natural health has just been something that I've always been passionate about. And especially when working in the healthcare field, I wanted to do more with people. I felt like when they would come to me for OT, I didn't feel like I was making such a great impact as I could be, because they would just do a little bit of what I was helping them with, and then they would kind of fall off. And it really more about how could they be improving their lifestyle habits for greater long-term health and wellness. And so that kind of led me into getting into the area of health coaching. And as the rise in CBD started to become more popular here in New York, people started reaching out to me and asking me about that, because I already kind of work in the healthcare space. And they're like, well, what is this? How can I use it to support my health? And so I decided to pursue some more continuing education in that area. And it even opened my eyes to the health benefits that it could provide for people. And so it inspired me to go into providing cannabis coaching and integrative health coaching to people to bring this education awareness, the incredible healing benefits that can serve for people.
Now, do you primarily work with CBD or do you work with both cannabis and CBD? And we should mention that you are in Rochester, New York. So it is, well, I mean, we were talking about this before we went on air. It's a little bit murky right now. We know that recreationally, cannabis is legal in New York, but it's hard to get it right now unless you have a medical card, right?
Yeah, so this past year we did legalize adult use cannabis, but we don't yet have the recreational facilities in place yet for people to purchase it for adult use or recreational needs. So mostly people with medical cannabis cards are the only people who are able to get more of the whole cannabis with the higher levels of THC. CBD is easily accessible within a health food store and that sort of thing. So New York still has a long way to go with putting their regulations in place and increasing the accessibility and the regulations for all of that.
So to explain what a integrative health practitioner and holistic cannabis practitioner does.
Yeah, so that is a great question, because there's a lot of different areas that health coaching can provide services in. And I love it because it's so versatile. So as an integrative health practitioner and holistic cannabis practitioner, I really focus on our lifestyle habits from a holistic and integrative approach. So what that means is when I'm working with my clients, I like to look at their lifestyle habits and behaviors from all areas. So how it's affecting their physical well-being, their emotional well-being, their ability to engage in the activities that they enjoy on a daily basis and that bring purpose and meaning to their life. And so a lot of my clients have chronic health conditions they're dealing with, whether it's anxiety or an autoimmune condition or a mental health condition. They're really struggling with simple things like eating healthy, making sure that they're getting their exercise on a daily basis, reducing their exposure to toxins that kind of can wear down our body and contribute to chronic illness. And so they provide a lot of education on stress reduction techniques, different ways that they can break down their goals into more manageable steps, And I provide the education for people who are already using medical cannabis or CBD on how they can use that more effectively, along with making healthy habit changes to really boost the health and balance of their endocannabinoid system and really get the most benefit from their cannabinoid medicine or how they're using it therapeutically. So I kind of combine all these incredible tools together so that people can live healthier lifestyles and start making those positive changes in a more proactive way before they get sick or before things get to that point where they're really struggling. So it's been an incredible journey, and a lot of my clients have made some amazing changes, and I just love it so much.
Yeah, well, that's great. You can tell your enthusiasm in your answer. What's your training? How does one become an expert in what you're an expert in now?
Yeah, so I completed my holistic cannabis certification through the Holistic Cannabis Academy. It is an online cannabis coaching certification that I did. It was really in depth and provided a ton of background knowledge on really where cannabis like originated from and kind of the historical pieces behind that, the legality of how it's changed over time. Within it had a lot of different health practitioners that came on and educated me about the different ways that it can be used for healthy living and healthy lifestyle. So it was amazing to be able to learn that because even I didn't know all of those great benefits. I grew up still, even with myself, with some of that stigma or some of those fears that a lot of people have surrounding the plant. And it was just amazing because I had learned that a lot of those things were true and it was all propaganda. And it's sad because a lot of people, even friends now that I know, they've been really able to get off of these harsh pharmaceuticals that have been feeling their quality of life and vitality for so long just by using their medical cannabis. And it's really given them their life and purpose back. And to me, that's amazing. And that's why I love teaching people in this space and just kind of working to decrease those fears and stigmas around the plant and how it can be utilized in a positive way.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about your own personal experience with cannabis. You said you grew up in upstate New York. There was a stigma around it. Do you use CBD cannabis regularly in your own life?
Yeah, so I'm not much of a smoker with it. I do enjoy using the topicals and the tinctures mostly, and I use
Hmm.
that for a lot of the most common things a lot of people speak out for with. So anxiety and stress. I do take the tinctures daily just for general wellness support because we know that we have an endocrine system and that it literally controls every other physiological process in our body. And so I use it daily as just a health and wellness supplement, basically. I also use the topicals for lower back pain because that's something that I struggle with a lot. So the tinctures and the topicals combined have been really great to help support my lower back pain or just really any joint and muscle inflammation that I have. So those are my favorite go-tos for the plant. I also love researching the different cannabinoids and terpenes individually to learn how to better match them up with different products and to see really, because with cannabis, using it therapeutically, it is very individualized. So it's incredible to just learn about the different terpenes and the cannabinoids themselves and what benefits each of those can provide. So yes, the topicals and tinctures are my favorite
Your
go-to.
go-tos.
Yeah.
So your clients are primarily women. Is that am I understanding? Now, is that
Yes, most of the time that's who's got me out so far.
all right? So it's not by design. It's just sort of like who has sought you out. Like you didn't go in this thinking I'm going to help women understand cannabis better.
I did mostly go into that. It just seems like that's who I'm most attracted to is like working with women. And I actually haven't really had any like males reach out to me interested in like health coaching part. I guess for me it seems to be more women that seek out support with those things. So yeah, it just kind of naturally blossomed into being designed for women. And so at this point in time I am mostly providing.
So what are women primarily like when they come to you? Would you say the highest percentage reason that they come to you is at this point?
It's mostly been, I would say, anxiety and panic, and then difficulty with like healthy eating and stuff like that. Or it's like it's mostly been anxiety stress and panic. And some of them have been using cannabis for years, and they're not quite sure if the way that they're using it is the most effective way, or if they want to switch it up a little bit to see if that might be aggravating their stress or anxiety, or if they want to try like more of a CBD product. So it's just kind of educating them a little bit more, even for people who have been experienced users for many years. They're like, well, how can my eating habits influence my cannabis medicine? So it's like, we know when we're eating healthier foods and we're sleeping better, endocannabinoid system is able to work more efficiently. So we're better able to absorb and metabolize our cannabis in a more efficient way too. So yeah, it's mostly been people with anxiety, high stress, and like panic attacks.
Wow, that's interesting. That's not what I would have guessed. I would have thought, oh, maybe pain or sleep problems, but anxiety. I mean, I know that's one of the main reasons people turn to cannabis. What do you think is causing it? Does it have a lot to do with the pandemic, the times we live in?
That's a great question too. I think it's a combination of everything, and it is very different for each person. A lot of times there's life stressors that are either internal things that are making us worry or that we're operating on. But it can be environmental, especially with pandemic. People have lost their jobs or struggled more financially, just with a lot of uncertainty, fearful about their health and what could happen there. So all of those things have created different stressors. Like they're not even aware of it all the time. And all those things are working together like against them. They're like, oh, I didn't even realize that that really was bothering me. Like that was a significant stress in my life. So I think all of it compounds, and it really has been creating more challenges for people with mental health issues. It exacerbates a lot of those symptoms. And because we've been stuck at home and have a lot of limited access to things too, people have struggled more with being healthier because we're not able to get to the gym, exercise as much, or eat healthier because we can't get. So it's definitely a combination of a lot of things, and it varies each person.
That's really interesting. So now, do women are they asking specifically about cannabis when they first meet you, or is that something that you advise them to do? Like, are they actually seeking out cannabis as a medicine?
Yeah, so with health coaching, I'm not able to make formal recommendations for any sort of treatment with things. So I have found that most of my clients have been interested in learning about the New York State Medical Cannabis Program and how to get certified for that. So I'm able to connect them with certifying practitioners to help them with that formal process. And then I'm able to provide that guidance and support on the different methods of administration that exist, the different product types that are on the market, and just some general ways that they could start incorporating the cannabis or CBD into their lifestyle in different ways.
So let's pretend that I'm a client. We'll pretend I'm a woman for 1 minute. And so how does it work? Like, take me through the process of working with somebody like you.
Sure. So, yes, when I'm first meeting with a potential client, we complete a discovery call together, and that allows us to kind of develop a relationship, get to know each other a little bit, and to dive into what really their health and wellness needs or goals are for them. And so then I'm able to figure out, like, is my program a right fit for them? And really identify what it is that they're wanting to work on. So we'll talk about some of the things that they've been doing already for their health, things that have been working well for them, as well as their areas of challenge, so that I can identify what are some of their barriers to being successful with this health goal. And then if they're a right fit for my program, we will meet through.
Why would they not be a good fit? Just curious.
Yeah. So sometimes people aren't in that readiness for change. And so I'll be able to identify that because they'll be coming up with a lot of objections or different reasons for why they're not able to take the necessary steps needed to make those changes in their lives. And so if that's the case, that's totally fine, because I don't want to force them into something. But I just let them know. I'm like, well, maybe now isn't the right time. But when it is, I'll be here waiting for you, and we can dive into those things then. People have to be ready and willing to want to make positive changes for their health. If someone's trying to force you to do something, most of the time you're not going to do it anyways. So, so that
Yeah.
never works out well.
So it's maybe their reticence to kind of to experiment with things that you would recommend.
Yeah, and just kind of being willing to step outside their comfort zone, maybe try new strategies or techniques, being willing to change their eating habits, which can be a real challenge for people, especially when it's like, but I really like sweets or I really want that soda. So things like that can be a real challenge, even though it doesn't sound like it sometimes. People have to be in that right readiness level to make those positive changes. So
All
that's
right.
really
So
the
that's,
most.
yeah. But okay, so let's say that you are ready to work with them after the discovery call. Then what happens?
So we'll meet through Zoom. All of my services are provided virtually here, which helps to increase accessibility for anyone. It can talk with people locally. If they want to meet in person, they can have that option. But a lot of times people really enjoy the ability to connect just from the comfort of their home wherever they are. And so we'll meet on a biweekly basis for about an hour. And it's really client directed. So they will come to me and let me know what area they want to focus on that day. Of course, I come prepared with different plans and ideas based on their goals of what we might want to talk about. So I'm always the guide to help support them on a different topic. So some of the topics we cover together are healthy eating habits. So how can we create a balanced meal or meal planning tips, shopping on a budget. We'll talk about their sleep health and their sleep health patterns, their cannabis use. If they are a new user, we'll explore the different options that they can use if it's medical cannabis or CBD and really how to integrate that as part of a healthy lifestyle. We'll also talk about like the different ways they can use it. And of course, exercise, stress management techniques, and oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank now. All the other great areas
Yeah.
that you can focus on in health. I know there's a lot.
Well, let's talk about anxiety specifically, since that was one that's a big one. As far as cannabis use, I know there's not a one size fits all, but is there something that you tend to go to, kind of your go-to thing?
So when I'm working with clients who experience anxiety, we'll kind of look at the different ways that they are currently using their cannabis or explore options if they aren't using cannabis, maybe like CBD. And then we look at the different strains they're using, the times of day they might be using that, and just trying to tease out, is the cannabis making their anxiety better or worse? The terpenes that are in the cannabis, because we know different terpenes can be more elevating and uplifting or more calming and relaxing. And so I can help guide them to picking products that are more calming and relaxing for their person. But on top of that, we'll also look at their sleep habits. Are they getting enough sleep? If not, a lot of times that contributes to higher stress levels, higher anxiety. And then we incorporate different stress reduction techniques like breath work, essential oils, progressive muscle relaxation. These are some of the things that I love using for my own personal benefit as well, but I can also help my clients the most.
Do they ever have some concerns, like once they've started their cannabis protocol, do they sometimes feel like a little paranoid, or do they feel like it's too much? Do you ever get that complaint?
I haven't actually gotten that too much. I feel like I have told them in advance that a lot of times people's experience will be really different. A lot of my clients have done really well about noticing that and then coming to me and then like I did a little bit too much the other day. So I decided the next day to just cut back a little bit. So they've been doing really well, just tapping into their own self-awareness and recognizing that. I also always encourage everyone to just keep like a little notebook where they can easily rate their anxiety levels and the product that they're using, terpenes that might be in that product, so they can kind of correlate their best experiences with that, or if they can identify it as the aggravating their anxiety or sleep, things like that. So I feel like that's been super helpful to prevent more of the paranoia experience with it and allowing them to experiment more on their own and be more comfortable.
All right. Well, this is super interesting and super helpful. Thank you so much, Kelly. If people want to find out more information about your services, how should they find you?
I am on Instagram. It's just my name, Kelly Maher, and I can provide that link to you guys if people do want to find me, but they can also reach me by email. But most of the time, it's the easiest way to find me is on the social.
And what is the Instagram address?
It's at Kelly Maher, and it has an underscore at the beginning and an underscore at the end.
And by the way, Maher is Maher, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's a little counterintuitive, so I want to help people with that. Well, Kelly,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time today, and very excited about this path for you. And it seems like women should be in touch with you and should just be in touch with the plant.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully help a lot more people moving forward.
Enhance Your Life is brought to you by Wana, the #1 infused product in North America. Wana's entire process is designed to deliver the same great experience time after time. They have spent years fine-tuning their recipes so that their products are delicious, consistent, and potent. For more information, head on over to wanabrands.com. That's Wana, W-A-N-A, brands.com.